This sounds like such a handy product, you know, trunk fresh. I mean, trunks get so dirty so quickly and you're not even trying. You're not putting anything muddy in there. You're not putting anything nasty in your trunk, but leaves blow in there. I don't know, you toss your golf clubs in there and the mud from the clubs breaks down onto the floor of the trunk. And yeah, you could use something to clean that out. It's so weird, you know, it's got that felt texture. You can't really take a paper towel to it. I don't know, it's just weird back in the trunk, man. And I think that's what they're going for here. Trunk, freshen your trunk. They don't have a slogan, you know. This is one of the few sponsors that does not have a slogan, sadly. But I can guarantee you by the end of this episode, we can come up with one on the fly. I bet we can. But yeah, guys, this is episode 10 of Piston Cup Teams, and none better than Trunk Fresh. Really excited to get into this one. I actually intended to do this review way earlier on in the year, but the audio got just absolutely bamboozled. It got super screwed. And then I procured this amazing new custom Trunk Fresh crew chief from Scavenger. So it worked out, you know. Instead, if I did it earlier, you wouldn't have gotten to see this great custom crew chief. And so we're just going to dive right on in. Now, I've reviewed everything you'll see here already pretty much except for the crew chief. So we're going to spend more time on the chief, less time on everything else, because you can revisit those reviews, you know, separately, the individual reviews, the individual videos. These episodes are mainly just kind of a showcase and then filling in the couple cars I had already reviewed. And we're going to start just chronologically with Dirkson D'Agostino from Cars 1. Now, he is one of the few racers that makes the jump to Cars 3. So this here is also Dirkson D'Agostino, even though they look nothing alike. This is the Thailand version. I have a Chinese version here that's, I think, super old. Yeah, this is from like his 2008 launcher. As you can see, made on the 151st day of 2008 at that EA factory, back when they barely put anything on the base. And now you can see they put, you know, every Pixar Mattel employee's name on the base. N16A means that it was produced during the 16th week of 2020, because this guy was released kind of during late summer, early summer, maybe a little bit of 2020 on the Blue Desert. It's actually one of my favorite Thailand racers, because I like his expression. I think it looks way better than the Chinese version, and that's simply because they move the eyes together a little bit. And the third variant is a factory custom that has kind of a matte finish look to them. Now, I do have a fourth one. Well, I don't know if you want to count it as a variant, but it's actually a prototype for the Motor Speedway of the South set that I will save for the end of this video. There's something special, so you gotta wait till the end if you want to see that. But yeah, we're just gonna dive on in here. You can see that this Thailand version is a little bit more raised up, and obviously quite a few other differences. This guy did get reviewed in my 2020 12 Days of Christmas. I think that's when he got his time to shine. But yeah, this Trunk Fresh here, obviously not perfect. It's got a few blemishes because it's been with me for like 14 years now. Even more than that. So you can see the blaring differences between the clarity of the contingency sponsors on the Chinese version to Thailand. They've gone blurrier. That looks more yellow than green. Not a big fan. So while I do like the expression more, pretty much everything else, like the coloring, the clarity of the decals, is definitely in favor of the Chinese version. I'm also not a big fan, I guess, of the Chinese windows. Like, they're transparent, like you could see the inventory or the interior pieces there, but it doesn't look great. Like, it just looks a little sloppy. I'm honestly more in preference of these opaque windows that just kind of block everything out. It looks really clean. I don't know, I really do like that. I've always liked the kind of sparkles, the snowflakes almost, on Trunk Fresh's design, Dirkson's design. But you could see this blaring design in the green, or this blaring difference in the green. It's kind of unsettling. Like, this almost looks like snot yellow or something. I definitely prefer the more neon lime green that they had originally on the Chinese version. But there you have that. Yeah, this factory custom's also not great quality, but the decals are better because it's, you know, based on a Chinese version and made in China using Chinese materials. It is nice though. Like, it has this cool matte finish, which it's a weird factory custom, and it may have just been like a fluke. And yeah, look at, there's like a big weird line back here as well. But it looks nice. I'm happy with it. It's a cool one to have. Cars 3, Dirkson is one of the rarer Piston Cup racers from Cars 3 because of the fact that he's only been released in multi-packs, starting with a 2017 11 pack with Jimmy Cables, both of which were first looks in that Target exclusive pack. But he's made several reappearances. I'm actually a big fan of this guy. I did review him in Forlorn Favorites, right? Yeah, I did. He was like the first episode of season 3 because of the fact that, I think he's super underrated, right? I think he's one of the most forgotten Cars 3 racers because of his limited releases. And I also think he's got a wonderful design. You kept the same font, but you added some depth to it. You upgraded the snowflakes, quote unquote. I love it. I love the two-tone he's got going on here with black, with gray wheels though, gray eyelids, a half spoiler. I mean, that's just brilliant. I love it. It is one of my favorite Cars 3 veteran racers. I mean, just look at that half and half design there. The black and the green. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. You know, it gives me the vibes like, you know, this side's supposed to be like the dirty side, but oh, you use Trunk Fresh and it's brand new over here. You had no idea what it looked like before until you used Trunk Fresh on it. Experience true cleanliness. You know what? That might be the slogan. Experience true cleanliness. Trunk Fresh. I'm a badass. Okay. Yeah, that is my sponsor. I thought it would have taken me way longer to come up with this sponsor slogan. But you know what? It just kind of came naturally to me there. Here you have Steve Slick LaPage, who is even rarer than that Cars 3 Dirkson because he was first released in the Next Gen Racers 4-pack and then again in a 11-pack. Yeah, lots of 11-packs exclusive to Target, but from Vietnam. So this is the Chinese version of him. This is the Vietnam version of him, but as you can see, it was sacrificed to the custom gods to make a race damage version, which of course I reviewed in my Next Gen Damage Racers video over the summer of 2022. I don't know when this video will come out, so best to say that. So yeah, you can see he's not looking so good. Some of you guys might cringe, like, oh my god, I can't believe you sacrificed a Steve Slick LaPage for a custom, but hey, it had to be done. It had to be done. I'm sure he'll get re-released sometime soon. May not come across super well on the camera, but instead of like the black you've seen here on Dirkson and Dirkson 1, this is more of a dark green in the background, like a very dark forest green, and he's got these glorious foil patches on the hood and on the sides here that look really good. The font is similar, but you have a capitalized, like everything's capitalized now, which is interesting. It's harder to read. It kind of all blends together, but I do admire whenever they use these foil decals. They did it on Chase Racelet a little bit, but mainly this is the one that they've used it on like heavily. Danny Swervez got it a little bit. Tim Treadless, when they did the Chinese metallic variant, got it as well, but this is one that's most notable on, in my opinion. You can see it kind of fraying around the fender there, which is why it's, you know, not the best. Like, they need to perfect it a little bit more, but it'll be interesting to see how they would do it from Thailand. I think they would go a slightly different route. Now, I know he's a little bit beat up, but you can see that on the Vietnam version, the text is way easier to read, so props to that. You can also see this one has window bars. The Chinese version does not. So a couple differences there that we could still perceive despite him being beat to all heck. Black rims, silver trim on them, which I do like. Now, his contingency sponsors are nearly impossible to read, but they are right there. Piston Cup, Combustor, Synergy, and Carbon Cyber. Aero, exhaust pipes, gas cap. I like the spoiler here. Again, you kind of got that two-tone thing going, especially on the main logo here. You can't really see it here. Like, here they just did green and then, like, yellow. Here, though, they did, like, a halvesy thing. You have Trun in dark green or, like, a lighter green. And here it's, like, in silver, the Kafresh, because it's, like, half of the end right there. Half of the end, maybe, like, a third or a fourth of the end is in silver. So that's kind of cool. Of course, these guys yellow rookie stripes, as all next gens do, except for Tim Treadless. That sneaky bastard. Somehow he got away without them. Or Mattel just botched it. So yeah, there you have Steve Slick LaPage. Very nice. It's a very good next gen. I won't say great or anything, but it's a solid next gen. All right, I guess we aren't really going chronological anymore, but here is the Trunk Fresh Pitty. A super cool release from 2009 when they just went Pitty crazy. Released Easy Idle Pitty, Nitrate Pitty, Octane Gain Pitty, Vitaline Pitty, Tank Coat Pitty. They were going to release Mood Springs Pitty and N2O Cola Pitty, both of which were canceled, sadly. Fortunately, though, this guy got out. He doesn't have a name, so if you want to name him, please do. Somebody commented on my video the other day of the Texas T Racer and named him for me, Clint Speeds. Thank you for that. I appreciate that because I didn't think to name him. Should have, but coming up with a good name hard. You know, Clint Speeds, like that sounds really good. So yeah, I really like this guy. He's kind of classic, you know. This like image gets reused a lot. He was actually in the post credits of Cars 3, like in the rolling credits. You could see like literally they used an image of the die-cast Trunk Fresh Pitty in a poster, you know, in the rolling credits, like on the sides there where they showed like memorabilia and whatnot. He's there. That sounds like some crazy like fourth wall breaking stuff where like the die-casts appear in the movies. Like, wow, craziness. But yeah, pretty standard. You know, he's got the rectangular Trunk Fresh logos on 3 of his sides there. I do like the black green. It's just like, it's a nice combo. It looks good. Whenever they do the black and, you know, the main color looks pretty nice. Like No Stall, they did that on. I'm pretty sure they did on, yeah, No Stall. Maybe just No Stall, but both of which look really cool. Of course, you have your tool card here, silver lining on the drawers. Wow, I wonder how much I could put in there. Probably a penny. Wheels don't roll, plastic. Now this pit stop barrier came with the 2016 release of Trunk Fresh. In the Movie Moment series, when they, you know, released a couple accessories with cars, it was pretty weird though. It was like super weird, honestly, because the series was sold at, again, like random stores, kind of like deluxes nowadays, honestly, because they were at Meijer, Kroger, and just, you know, some other random stores. Other examples were like Dexter Hoover with cones, Marlon Clutch's McKay with cones, Charlie Checker with cones, and then they did a slew of racers with pit stop barriers. They did sidewall shine, gaskets, toe cap, shiny wax, Lightning McQueen, the King, and Chick Hicks, I think. My memory is really trying, really working hard. The mouse up there, I think it's a mouse, might be a hamster, is working hard. But yeah, this is a nice one. Again, you got the two-tone thing going. It's a great theme that they've kept all the way through all of the team members, all of the generations, including the trailer, the hauler right here, released in 2009. I remember finding this guy specifically in Target. Here's a story for you guys. Actually, we were in Target, my mom and I don't know, we needed to try on some clothes or something like that, and you couldn't bring the item into the changing room, right, to, you know, try out the clothes. And I was like, Mom, I can't leave the Trunk Fresh hauler out here. Somebody's going to take it. I mean, you know how valuable this is. People are looking for this thing, and they're out there. I mean, they're looking for me. And she was like, oh my God, I'll be fine. Just like leave it in this little cart right here. The person at the little desk here will make sure no one takes it. I'm like, oh my God. I was like freaking out. Thankfully, as you can see, because this is him. Poor guy had to be alone for a couple minutes while I had to try on some clothes, or maybe it was my mom. I don't know. I think it was me, though. A little 8-year-old me. God, I was freaking heck out, man. All right. I love how easy that came off, because some of the haulers get a little stiff. But yeah, this guy's looking nice. I like how he's looking off to the side, because a lot of the haulers are just looking straight on, and it seems a little bit robotic. I also kind of like how he's sticking his tongue out there. Cool stuff. 34, Trunk Fresh. He's got the Trunk Fresh decals on his mud flaps. 824AL is his license plate. Really wish I knew what that meant, but probably will never. It could be just completely random. Whatever the Mattel intern that day was feeling. August 24th, AL. Could be a birthday, actually, with somebody's initials. Actually, that's probably very likely. Trunk Fresh. 1 Snowflake, 34. Couple snowflakes, 5, 6 snowflakes up here. Look at how intricate that sticker is. Like, it curves all around that. Wouldn't it just be easier to make a decal? Because then you don't get the fraying as well. Look at that. See, the sticker's kind of coming up there, but it's okay. It is quite old. 2009. Yeah, well, 13 years. Wow. So this side's the exact same. And on the back here, you have... I like how they wedge the green slice in between two black slices. Looks pretty good. You have some taillights down there, and they even put a license plate on there, which is the same, but it's way smaller, so I wouldn't have known what it said unless we saw the larger version of it. These haulers open from the sides, even though that's inaccurate, but it definitely facilitates more play, you know. If you just open from the back, you can't really get into the hauler that much, but with this... open from the side, I mean, everything's possible at this point. You could flip down these. I always hated this one here because I can never get my finger in there with the wheels in the way. So I have to get out my T to prop that down. But yeah, that was kind of poorly designed because the wheels really get in your way there. And yeah, you get toolbox, air compressor, tires. By the way, the tires that came with the Trunk Fresh Pitty are right here, and they're really nice because they're accurate. They're not always like that, so you gotta take it where you can get it. But yeah, nice green light year tires, and they do have the classic hole for the Pitties to recreate scenes from the movie when they stab the tire and sabotage their racers. You know, I truly believe that's what My Name's Not Chuck did, because there's no way Lightning McQueen would have actually blown a tire. My Name's Not Chuck stabbed it just like you see here. Horrible. But I like to display them like this because that looks actually way more accurate to what they do in the movie. Anyway, this ramp folds down. I love the texture, the like metal texture that they use here. So again, this also, again, not very accurate, but in theory, you would take your Trunk Fresh, drive them up here. That's a big bump. And turn there. You could just chill up there a little bit. Unfortunately, you can't really drive away because, yep. So you got to take them out for a second. Flip the stands back up. Flip that in there. You know what? I like to slide that in there first because if you put Dirkson on it and then slide it in, you could like launch him into the trailer because of the fact that this is so jerky and it doesn't move fluidly. So that is my recommendation. And then you just kind of toss them in there. And then you're good to go. Hook them up. Drive them around a little bit. Drive them to the next race or to retirement. And you could open it from the other side to remove him. And then it doesn't pull out this way though. Just to let you guys know. Only on its left side. Lovely. Alright, now quickly I want to go over the two XRS Extreme Racing Series releases of Steve here, which I've reviewed before. Both of them, you know, it's kind of odd that the regular Steve is so rare, and yet they've done, you know, a Rocket Racer version of him and the Mud Racer version of him. They're nice. Both of them use the foil decaling still. This one's got a really exciting expression. He's basically got the same expression as usual, but instead of a frown, it's a giant smile, like kind of a ravenous one though. I don't like these wheels though because they absolutely do not match really anything on his main body. Also these, like, it's just kind of like yellow. Both of these things feel out of place. Either way though, I like the fenders. The mud design's nice. I'm glad they just didn't cake the tires entirely in mud like they do with the Salt Flats racers. Mud flaps. It was a yawn. Here you have the Rocket Racer version of him, which I think's pretty cool too. Honestly, don't even know what my favorite is. These one, spinning wheels. This guy's got suspension, really nice suspension too. Oh no, the light turned off. All right, I'll be right back. Turn that bad boy back on. Getting back to the Rocket Racer here, it also came with a pit stop barrier. Very unlike the original one that I showed you before, because this one has The checkered board pattern, 34, and then the XRS logo. Kind of boring. Honestly, I don't know. I guess actually they called it a blast wall. Blast wall, because you're supposed to like blast them through it. Yeah. They should have just called it like a barrier or something like that, because it's not like the other signs they did with the Demolition Derby racers, exclusive to Walmart back in 2017, where the signs actually split in half, like they cracked down the middle so you could launch a car through it and it would like actually break. But yeah, you can see they really gave it a good effort with the foil decaling here from Vietnam. And this definitely looks pretty good. I love the 34 on the back here. That just looks really simple and elegant. I'm a big fan. And I also do like the little Trunk Fresh text on his mini spoiler here. Really cool. Will we see more XRS racers in the future? I kind of doubt it. I feel like we're over that, just as we're over the truck. Moving on to something new, I'm sure. Something that we have yet to see. All right, so there's this guy back here. This is another custom Trunk Fresh crew chief that I got a little bit ago. It's really nice as well. This customizer was big into changing the expressions, and he did a wonderful job with this one. I mean, it's not the best in the world, but very creative, and I do like it quite a bit. And both of them use the Brian Fee clamp model, which of course is accurate to the movie. We've seen the Trunk Fresh Chief in magazines, like European magazines that provide art for like very obscure characters, whether it be Andy Gearsdale, whether it be the canceled 2002 BMW cameraman. These magazines are elite, and they have included art for the Trunk Fresh Chief here, so that's why we know for sure it's the Brian Fee clamp model. But yeah, you have this massive Trunk Fresh logo going over the hood here. What I love the most about it though is the fact that he hid a couple snowflakes behind the 34 here. I think that just looks really cool. He painted the wheels black, painted the bed black as well. No license plate. He looks concerned, you know, he looks as he probably should be, because I also have this version of Dirkson. This is his car's one crashed version. Ugh. Poor Dirkson. Love that strong Italian name though, D'Agostino. How stereotypical was that to use that accent? You know, isn't everyone like complaining that Mario in the new Super Mario Bros. Trailer does not sound as Italian as they'd want him to? The internet kind of like broke over that. Either way, this is probably the most exciting thing, at least for me right now, because it's new. I really adore this custom by Jim Scavenger. I'll leave his contact info in the description below if you'd like to check it out. Just message him, you know, whether it be Facebook or Instagram if you have an idea. Not guaranteeing he'll accept it, but worth a shot, right? You guys always comment like these crazy ideas for customs in the comments. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that'd be cool, but there's always like two problems. Either like it's just not feasible. You're asking like, can you make like the entire Piston Cup stadium like in 1-to-1 scale? Or they'll be like, they'll say something and I'm just like, you know, I do not want that. Like, I don't want to spend like dollars on that. Like, if you want to spend your money on that, by all means, but like, I'm not spending money on that. Anyway, this is really cool. You got a much more accurate crew chief here. Like, this is how it should look. A little Trunk Fresh logo instead of the gigantic one there. 34 on the side. Silver rims. Pretty typical Brian Fee clamp expression. 34. This one does have a license plate. A little cockade. 32592. Pretty sure that's just Brian Fee clamp's regular license plate. Jim Scavenger had a version of this with a Trunk Fresh logo right here on the trunk. What do they call this? The thing that opens. And I was like, nah, I don't think that's accurate, because none of the other Piston Cup pickup truck crew chiefs have a decal back there. Like, they literally just have 3 decals, super short and sweet. And I like it like that. You know, I go for accuracy over, I don't know, glamour. Especially, You know, like if it's something we don't know, I totally like go for it. Like take your creative liberties. But if it's something that we know for sure, this is how it should be canonically within the Cars universe, I want it that way. And yeah, this is what you guys all waited for, maybe, the prototype of the Motor Speedway of the South version of Dirkson. You guys might know about this. It's kind of a little infamous at this point, the inverted, as a lot of people mistakenly refer to it as, the inverted trunk fresh. If it was truly inverted, though, that would be black. This would be black, but then the rest of it would be green. Truly what this is, and when I break it down, it's much more boring, honestly, than you think. It's just like this first part here is black. Like this front half of his hood here being green, it's just black. Like that's literally all there is to it. So not super exciting at all, but nonetheless, it really does give it a completely different look. There is an inverted custom I've seen like of a Piston Cup racer. I think it was Day of Alternators. You might even still be able to find it on Google. That was cool. Like the red and the like white were inverted. Oh my god, it looked awesome. And yeah, this looks cool too, but people definitely blow it out of proportions in my opinion. Here's the Chinese version. And there is your date stamp, by the way, 2777EA. 2777, 2777. Okay. I think I said 3 sevens. It's like midnight, guys. You guys know when the light goes off, that's like 12:05. It should be midnight, but it's delayed. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I think we covered everything. Like literally everything's like sprawled over my table right now, but I think we did get everything. You're my centerpiece. I love the Pitty too. The Pitty really has a soft spot in my heart. You're cool. You were in Forlorn Favorites. You're okay. I like the Thailand variant. Its expression better. This pit stop barrier is kind of lame. This one's really cool. It's a nice creative expression change. Hauler is cool. Glad that, you know, if it was gone when I came out of the changing room, I would have thrown an absolute tantrum. Like, watch out. Holy crap. All right, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for watching Piston Cup Teams episode 10. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time for another video and for another episode of this wonderful series that we have yet so much more to go. I mean, think about it. 10 down, like 30 more to go. About yikes. But yeah, hopefully one day, maybe in like 5 years from now, probably even longer than that. I'd probably give it 10 years before I get them all done. Because I release only about like 3 per year. I think this is the 4th one. What did I do? I did blinker, 4-wheel drive, combustor, and trunk fresh. So 4 this year so far. That might be a record, honestly. But yeah, guys, thank you again. See you next time. Bye now.